Welcome to Savage Strategies. This is Annie Reed with AnnieReed.com, where we give you 3 to 5 minute nuggets that would help you improve your marketing, social media management, fundraising, and sales to ensure that you're fulfilling your mission here on Earth. We're so excited that you're here. We're talking all things communication right now. We just went through a series that helped us pull all of the data that we needed to gauge the healthiness of your organization. We talked about email marketing or email blast yesterday. Today, we're going to talk about SMS messaging or text messaging. So text messaging is fairly new to the scope of the world as far as the nonprofit and ministry and even business, sending these mass text messaging. It's relatively new. It's something that started just a few years ago. And I want to say this. Not a lot of people know how to utilize it. And honestly, not a lot of people are using it at all. But I can tell you the open rates for text messaging are through the roof. The average open rate of a text message is 94%. Nothing gives you better results. Nothing gives you better open rates. So I want you to consider, does your CRM or donor management system currently offer text messaging? And if they do, what does the pricing look like? And I need you to go ahead and put together a plan on how to start text messaging, because the 94% rate is just absolutely unreal. Now, that doesn't mean that you need a text message every single day or every single month. Right now, text messaging is really popular for the political campaign for the presidential election that's coming up. So I get tons of them on a regular basis. But for your nonprofit, how often can you text message and how often should you text message? Same thing with the company. So I would honestly answer that with very important information. You don't want fatigue in your text messaging either, because like your email blast, it'll happen. It'll send, you'll land in people's spam. So I want you to consider, is text messaging for me, which I would say everybody should be text messaging right now, across the board, no matter what you own. But I want you to consider how often you should do it. And if you should be on a weekly basis or when you have big news, like for instance, I'm working with an organization where we've decided that we're going to text message just whenever we have big announcements, because they are dealing with a lot of donor fatigue right now. And so we don't want to overwhelm the audience as far as text messaging, but we're seeing a lot more results. So what we do is when we have an extreme case come in of something that we have a need for, like the pantry is empty, that's when we're sending out text messaging. And we've seen huge results with donations because of that. Now, if we do that every single week, people are going to be like, listen, you have an issue. The pantry is always empty, which honestly it is, because there's not enough donations to ever maintain the hunger that is, rampaging this world. However, I need you to consider how often you should do it. And it should be sporadic enough, but consistent enough that people don't forget about you. So for them in particular, there's been 2 text messages that have gone out in the last quarter over their pantry being empty, and it's resulted in huge results. Now, again, we can't send that on a weekly basis. It just, at that point, it's not realistic, and people will start thinking it's spam at that point. So we don't want it to oversend, or we don't want to we don't want to exhaust the audience. That's the word I was thinking of. But I want you to also consider what's appropriate for you and for your organization. If you're a ministry, maybe it's whenever you have services, which honestly I would kind of steer away from that. I feel like text messaging is such a powerful tool that it shouldn't be when you have services that they're already aware of, but rather when you have big announcements and big news that you need to share, like, hey, we need to raise $300,000 because we have an opportunity with the Israeli parliament right now, which is exactly what's happening with one of my nonprofits. I need you to consider, making a gift, because, that's when I would use text messaging. So I need you to consider what is realistic for your organization, for your company. Again, I would use it when you have big sales. Big sales, new product release, that's when we're using it. When we have a new product, when we have sales, and it's been extremely successful at doing it. And I would encourage you, if you have a company, to add an extra code to help them with the store. If you have a nonprofit or a ministry, if they participate in text messaging, every once in a while, throw out a special discount, a special code. I have a ministry right now too, where randomly when they do a text message here and there, they will receive a special code to receive a special teaching. And it's a good way to engage, and it's a good way for people to continue to open up your messages. If they see like, hey, you guys, just because you are receiving our text, because you're on our list, and because you're paying attention to us, I mean, not in those words, so to speak, we're going to send you something special. And that's exactly what you want. And that engagement is going to triple whenever it's text messaging. So consider text messaging as your new point of contact for communicating with your list. It's exceptionally successful. The numbers don't lie, but don't take advantage of it. Don't treat it like email, and make sure that you're utilizing it to its fullest capacity when possible. If you want us to manage your text messaging, if you want us to manage your social media, your marketing, and or your fundraising or sales, we can do that for you at anniereed.com. We have experts on staff that will help you fulfill your mission here on earth.